it was that right hook that really did in Mourinez. There it comes. It hurt him. And the ref was like, look, that's enough. Frank.
Yup, you know what time it is, man. This is, of course, your favorite channel, man, CTB. This is Chan Tuck Boxing. I'm your boy, Jay Slay. So what up to him, man?
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in.
Most definitely. You know what you're tuned into, man. This is, of course, the segment we call here, Chin Check. So we rock you guys' channel, boxing news, boxing information, boxing rumors, and sometimes we put some change in you guys' pockets by giving you the odds for a fight. But this time we got a couple I don't know what you call this, man. What would you kind of call this segment? I guess a conversation. This is a boxing conversation about the 135-pound division, man. One of the hottest divisions in boxing right now, in my opinion. I give it top 3 in the division. I mean, top 3 in the sport of boxing with all the talent that's coming up. But we was having a conversation here at CTB, man. We was like pretty much just breaking down the new tier. I mean, Frank Martin is making a rise in the division, and we was having a conversation here on tiers of 135. And would you put Ryan Garcia, who has a fight coming up this weekend on the 16th, what tier would you put him on? Would you put him on the second tier or the third tier? Because in my opinion, the third tier is the up and comers, which is the, maybe the Cruzes of the world, maybe the, the Frank Martins of the world. But I'm asking your opinion, man. What tier would you think Frank Martin and Ryan Garcia are the same tier, or would you put Ryan Garcia slightly above the up and comers?
I got Ryan Garcia in the first tier. No, I don't.
I said what?
But seriously, I would put him in the second tier, at the back end of the second tier. I think Frank Martin, Keyshawn Davis, these guys I think are going to be future champions and stars at some point of the sport, especially champions. But at this point, as far as the guys they have fought on their resume is not up to par, but they fighting who they should fight at this point in their career. Ryan Garcia, on the other hand, has fought a guy like Luke Campbell. Even though he got put on his ass, I think that fight right there puts him at the second tier, barely above, the third tier guy. But by him being on that tier and him fighting a guy like Fortuna, which I think is a good fight for him also, those guys like Frank Martin, Keyshawn Davis gonna start mentioning his name because they trying to come up on that tier. They trying to put their name in the sweepstakes. But once you get to the second tier, then the guys that's the elite in the first tier are gonna start to pay attention to you.
I like this conversation, man, because it's while I can't say I got a little bit of bias involved with it, you really can't be too biased because once you go past the first tier, everybody else haven't made the mainstream media yet. So a lot of people don't really know who Frank Martin is until this past weekend. He just had a fight. Nobody really know about Keyshawn Davis except for us, because he local talent for us. But I like this conversation because Ryan Garcia, people who are Ryan Garcia fans, they are fans of him outside of boxing first, in my opinion. They like the pretty boy image that he give and the social media facade that he lives. When it comes to a boxer, I'm gonna be honest, man. I'll just use Frank Martin for example. Frank Martin just had a great fight this weekend. He looked sharp. He looked great. He wound up stopping the guy. To me, that was his step-up fight. That put him on in my opinion, that put him on a tier with Ryan Garcia because they pretty much call out the same level of talent now. Ryan Garcia is calling out calling out Rolly at one point before the Tank fight. Now you have Frank Martin calling out Rolly in the same breath. So once you start calling out the same names of opponents, you start calling out the same people. You're the same tier To me, Ryan Garcia, while he did have a step up, when he fought Luke Campbell, he got put on his ass, but he rose to the occasion and actually showed heart. So we give him props for that. But since that fight, he seemed to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out the game. And we know how whatever happens to you when you in that regard, you can't have 1 foot in boxing, man. If you get 1 foot in boxing, you can wind up hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like real hurt. So I would say him and Frank Martin on the same tier, man. Especially, I got a question then. All right, so you got somebody like Pitbull Cruz, right? Who had a fight with Tank, who's Tank's top tier. Would you put Pitbull Cruz above those two guys?
Yes, I put Pitbull Cruz as a second tier guy. I think the fight with Tank Davis was, even though he clearly lost, it was a competitive fight. He made Tank Davis work, and I consider Tank Davis the elite of 135. and then he came back and he just dog walked Gamboa. So I think he kind of hot right now. So yeah, I would put him in second tier. Now tell me, do you put him at second tier? And after that, I have a question for you.
All right, I'm gonna say he's top two. He's top two, probably the back end of top two, close to top three. Cause I think Gamboa was washed in my opinion. He ran through Gamboa. He was supposed to do that in my opinion. The Tank Davis fight did wow me a little bit. He surprised me a whole lot with how he fought Tank and how he was defensively responsible. And then he followed it up with an offensive barrage of Gamboa. But like I said, Ryan Garcia was calling him out at first. And then, of course, when Pitbull Cruz answered it and said, yeah, well, I'll fight you, and he all of a sudden didn't want that fight no more. He decided to fight for Tuna instead. So, yeah, I would put him above Ryan Garcia because of the Tank Davis fight. And I'm going to say the overall heart. But what was your question?
So, before we get out of here, I'm just going to throw some names, rapid fire. And you tell me what tier you take them on.
Okay.
Chris Colbert.
He's third tier. He come off a loss. He did come off a real bad loss, man. If I remember correctly, he got pretty much embarrassed and then ran around the ring the last round. So yeah, he's bottom tier.
All right, I agree with you on that one. Devin Haney.
He's unified undisputed champion. Of course, he's above all tiers. He's the champ.
Okay. Tank Davis.
He's top tier. He's the only person I want to see him fight is Devin Haney, or somebody on his level. I don't want to see him fight nobody below his level. He should be fighting. He should be fighting Devin Haney next.
Keyshawn Davis.
I'm a little biased, man. I'm a little biased with Keyshawn. Like I said, he's a local prospect. I'm gonna say talent-wise, he's most definitely top three. Talent-wise, I think he can beat a lot of those. I think he beat Ryan Garcia right now, in my opinion. But I'm being biased a little bit. But I'm gonna be realistic and put my emotions out of it and say he's bottom tier. He's prospect, but he's making his way up though.
Okay, I agree with everything you said on that one. Lomachenko.
Yeah. I always said, this is my opinion, I always said Lomachenko was a little small for the division. I still vibe with that, even though he beat some big 135ers. The 135 he beat wasn't top tier at all. I know people want to see him fight Devin Haney. I think I know how that fight will go. I think Devin Haney is just too long and too athletic for him. But I still want to see the fight. So I'll give Lomachenko, I put him on the same tier as Tank. I think I'll put him bottom half of the second tier.
Yeah, I have him at the bottom of the first tier. Like you said, I'm kind of with you. I'm not sure if he's an elite 135 pounder. But because of his skill set and because of what I know he can do, even though I think I would favor those guys that's in the first tier, I know he can beat them. It wouldn't shock me if he beat them. So because of that, I put him at the bottom of the first tier. I'm gonna throw one out here. I know he at 140, but if he decides to come back down to 135, Lopez.
You got to put Lopez up there, man. He beat Lomachenko, so you have to put him up there. Even though he lost to Kambosos, I still put him on that same tier as Kambosos. Cause I feel like if him and Kambosos have a rematch, I think he'll beat Kambosos in the rematch. In my opinion, I think he'll hurt Kambosos bad in the rematch. If he places the shots right and don't rush it and actually box like I think he can, that the way he did Lomachenko, I actually have him hurting Kambosos in the rematch. So I have him second tier.
The hearts of champions. If Davis thought Santa Cruz was going to fold from his power,